I like Senga. I like Manea. I like Peterson. One guy who's catching a lot of hate. I don't understand why he's catching so much hate while people are clowning the Mets for signing Clay Holmes as a reliever. I am sick of it. He is going to get the first spring training start this Saturday. And you know what? Clay Holmes has become my favorite player on the Mets, and he hasn't even pitched. And the reason he's my favorite player is because everybody hates him. Everybody hates Clay Holmes. Let's go over these numbers from 2024 from relievers turned starters. Zach Little had a 3.63 ERA last season. Former reliever. Former reliever Seth Lugo, a guy we're very familiar with, finished third in Cy Young voting with the Kansas City Royals and pitched to a 3 ERA, flat. Christopher Sanchez, another guy who we're pretty familiar with as Met fans, pitched to a 3.32 ERA, former reliever. Michael King, guy us New York baseball fans, we're very familiar with Michael King. And obviously, if you're a Met fan too, you got to be familiar because Juan Soto was traded for Michael King. Former reliever, pitched to a 2.95 ERA in 2024. Ronel Blanco, former reliever, 2.80 ERA last year. Why? Since the Mets signed a former reliever in Clay Holmes, somehow that is the stupidest decision that they have ever made. So now Clay Holmes has become my favorite player because I want him to go out there and I want him to make everybody that's saying, Clay Holmes this, Clay Holmes that. I want him to shove, and I want him to shove it down every hater's throats that he can be a starter. And not just a starter, but a good one. And I have a feeling that Clay Holmes is going to be a good starter. That's why the Mets signed him to be a starter. Because when you look at Clay Holmes' numbers, ground ball wise, he is a very good ground ball pitcher. When you're a ground ball pitcher, you cannot be a closing pitcher. When you're a closing pitcher, you have to get strikeouts. Because if you let up a base knock, you get one inning. So across 9 innings, that's why they do the ERA based off 9 innings. He had a 3.14 ERA last year as a reliever. That ain't that bad. But when you're a closer, and you let up a base knock, and you don't have really time, you let up a run in that inning, and then you don't get that other inning to get a shutdown inning. Because we saw him, he shut down, blew a save, 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 blew a save, blew a save, blew a save. He's not a reliever. You got to strike people out. You do. But listen, he had the highest ground ball rate in all of baseball last year. And when you're a ground ball pitcher, you got to be a starter. You can't be a reliever. You can be a reliever. Like Andrew Miller, he was a strikeout / ground ball pitcher, but he also pitched multiple innings. But Clay Holmes, just last year, let's go over his MLB percentile rankings. His breaking run value, which is basically breaking balls, was in the 86th percentile last year. That is very good. He's got very good breaking balls. Now let's get into his pitchers. He got a sinker. And the Mets love having their pitchers use their sinker. Sean Manaea had a very high sinker rate last year, much higher than he's ever had in his career. 56% of the time he used that. Might drop. Probably will stay the same. Maybe even increase with the Mets. Might drop, but I don't expect it to. Slider, 23% of the time. You got a sweeper 20% of the time. And he's also reportedly added a few pitches. I think he's adding a changeup. But let's look at his other pitching aspects and analytical wise. His fastball velo was in the 88th percentile. His average exit velocity was not very good, in the 50th percentile. But let's take a look at these numbers. His whiff percentage, 84%. Gets a lot of whiffs. Barrel percentage, he was in the 84th percentile. People don't really barrel him up that much. When they do, but they don't really barrel him up that much. His ground ball rate was in the 100th percentile. Number one in all of baseball. Number one. His hard hit percentage, 69th percentile. That's above average. So his barrel percentage, according to Baseball Savant, is great. Ground ball rate is great, best in the league. Whip percentage is great, 84th percentile. Fastball velo, 88th percentile. xERA, 80th percentile. His break and run value, 86th percentile. And then he's got 3 good pitches, a sinker, a slider, a sweeper. He's already developing more. Listen, man, as a closing pitcher, yeah, he's not great. He's not. But he's a ground ball pitcher. He's a ground ball pitcher. When you're poking one through the holes in the 9th inning, poking one through the holes every now and then in the 9th inning, you're going to blow a few saves on the guy. You're going to. But as a starting pitcher, when you pitch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 innings, you get a runner on first, you get a ground ball, there's a double play. Right there. You poke one through the hole, you get the next 3 guys out. You let up 2 hits. Because if he just keeps letting them ground balls, let's say he faces 5 batters in an inning. 5 of them hit ground balls. Are those going to be 5 hits? 2 of them could be. But 3 of them will likely be outs. 1 could be a double play. So, listen, man, I'm not opposed to this experiment at all. And like I said, he's become my favorite player because I want him to shove. I want him to shove. And pre-All-Star in 2024. Let's take a look at these splits. Pre-All-Star break, he had a 2.77 ERA. Post-All-Star break, he had the 3.75 ERA. That wasn't too good. But as a starter, a 3.75 ERA. As a number 4 or 5, that's really freaking good. I'm excited for Clay Holmes. I'm excited for Clay Holmes. I'm also excited for this bullpen. This Mets bullpen. I cannot wait to see how it shapes out in 2025. I mean, with Daniel Nunez coming back, I think that's going to be huge. I don't think we're talking about Daniel Nunez too much, and we should be. Because Daniel Nunez, in his first year, before he got hurt in 25 games, he had a 2.31 ERA, 48 strikeouts, and 35 innings of work. I like that. They added A.J. Minter, and A.J. Minter I love. In the 2024 regular season, just last year, across 39 games, he had a 2.62 ERA. And against Bryce Harper, he has dominated throughout his career. He spent 8 years in the AL East, and he has been one of the best relievers in baseball in the NL East. Reed Garrett, you got to put him in the right spots. And if you do, he's going to give you good innings. He had 83 strikeouts and 57.1 innings of work last year. 53 games, 83 strikeouts. Pretty damn good. Jose Budo, I cannot wait. He had a 2.55 ERA last year in 30 games across 74 innings of work. He's going to be in that long reliever role, and I can't wait for him to get that full year. What's Brazoban? I said that name wrong, but I mean, I like him. He had a 3.83 ERA last year. Yeah, he did. But his career regular season stats, 3.79 ERA. That's a pretty good bullpen pitcher, I would say so. And then the key is Edwin Diaz. Oh, and then you also brought back Ryan Stanek. I like that too. But, I think Edwin Diaz is the biggest piece in this bullpen. Even though we brought in A.J. Minter. Even though I love Daniel Nunez's numbers from last year. Even though I love Reed Garrett's strikeout numbers. Edwin Diaz, we cannot forget, missed the entire 2023 season. Did he struggle last year? Yeah. But his struggling season last year was a 3.52 ERA. He still had 84 strikeouts across 53.2 innings. Don't forget that. His career numbers are insane. He has 741 strikeouts in 458 games across 453 innings of work with a flat 3 ERA. If Edwin Diaz is a shade of himself in 2022, the Mets are going to have a dominant bullpen. And I have a hard time believing that Edwin Diaz struggled last year because he sucks. I think he struggled last year because he missed an entire year in 2023. He was coming off a broken freaking leg. So I don't feel that Edwin Diaz is going to pitch the same way he did or worse than last year. I think Edwin Diaz is going to pitch better. I think he's going to have another sub-3 ERA. I think he might even have a sub-2.5 ERA. I think he might even have a sub-2 ERA again. We cannot forget that Edwin Diaz is one of the best relievers in baseball when he is on. And if Edwin Diaz is on in 2025, the Mets will have a great lineup, a great bullpen, and I think they already have an underrated rotation. So, to end this podcast today, we started off by saying, who's the better team, the Mets or the Yankees? Now, where I do think the Yankees have the better chance to make the World Series, who do I think the better team is? I think it's the Mets. I think it is the Mets because their lineup, their bullpen isn't a big drop-off from the Yankees. And I think their starting rotation is pretty underrated. So we'll see. We'll see. Thank you guys for watching, whether you're on Instagram today, the first show we did on Instagram, or X or YouTube, wherever you're watching. If you're watching on YouTube, I love you even more. Nothing against you guys not watching on YouTube, but, we want to grow the YouTube page too. So make sure you pop over to that YouTube page, click a like, click a subscribe, tell your friends about this pod. Let's get it going. All right. Next pod, probably going to do tomorrow, honestly, because I still want to talk some football. We spent almost an hour and a half on baseball alone today. So tomorrow we'll lead the show off with some Giants and Jets stuff. We'll get into some Knicks stuff because the Knicks got some exciting news today. Mitchell Robinson cleared for 5-on-5 contact in practice. OG Anunoby is coming back as well. The Knicks will be fully healthy for the first time. As Alex Knicks Central would say, for the first time, the Knicks will be fully healthy since the Biden administration. I am excited. Since last year's, but early 2024 Biden administration. I'm excited, man. I am freaking excited for these Knicks to get Mitchell Robinson back. I love OG Anunoby, but Mitchell Robinson, man, he is the longest tenured Knick. And man, like I said on the last pod, I don't expect the Knicks to win a championship this year, but I do expect them to be in the Eastern Conference Finals. We will talk about me changing my expectations because if they get in the Eastern Conference Finals, then I'll be like, all right, let's do it. We can beat the Celtics. Right now, I don't feel that way. I don't think we're going to beat the Celtics. But if we get there, damn right, I want to be like, we can beat the Celtics. All right. Spring training baseball starts this Saturday. Clay Holmes, as Shay and Sons would say it, it's Clay Saturday, baby. Clay Saturday. All right, that's it for today's show, guys. Marcus Stroman getting the first start for Yankee spring training. Clay Holmes getting the first start for Mets spring training. Starting this weekend, baby. Baseball games are back. That's it for today. Deuces.